So, some of us woke up to the news on Monday, 16th of December, that Dozie Mobuozi was charged by the SEC, which stands for the Securities Exchange Commission in the US state of New York. He was charged of a lot of heinous crimes which relate to falsification of records, misrepresentation of financial statements, misleading investors, and so much more. Stay with me as we go through the 72-page report. I'm not going to go through every single page. I'll just pick the highlights that make sense and try and make sense out of this thing that has happened to Dozie Mobuozi. Now, it's not just Dozie Mobuozi that was charged. It's Tingo Mobile. I don't know if you've heard about Tingo Mobile. Don't worry, I'll go into that when we go into the analysis. But from what I can remember from the report, Agri Fintech Holdings, Tingo Group, Tingo International, Tingo International Group as well. So it's one person being charged by the SEC and the three companies. And funny enough, it has controlling shares in all these three companies. Stay with me as we explore more. Who is Dozie Mobuozi? When did he start this company? Why did the SEC charge him? We'll go through it in much more detail as we explore more. But if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like my content. Make sure you share. Always smash the likes. This is my first post on this channel. And if you like analysis, and if you like me, if you like my style, if you like the way I'm reacting to different content, which I will be doing over the next few weeks and coming months, please subscribe to my channel. I'm new into this community and I'm here to stay. So make sure you support me, and I'll be more encouraged to do more analysis and videos such as this. So let's get into it. So like I said earlier, Dozie Mobuozi was charged by the US's SEC on Monday. Now, you can always wonder why. Why now? Now, sometime last year, Dozie appeared to be closing in on a takeover of the Premier League football club called Sheffield United. And if anyone knows anything about buying a football club in the UK, they go through extensive checks where your source of funding is key. Where did you get your money from? Is it clean? If a publicly listed company, they have to go through everything. The due diligence is done. Though it happened in the UK, the companies I mentioned earlier, especially Tingo Group Incorporated, is listed on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange, which goes through a lot of due diligence. And they started to uncover things. A large-scale fraud investigation was done, which led to the charges that were filed on Monday. Now, what is the SEC saying? The SEC is saying that they are claiming that he inflated his company's financial performance by hundreds of millions of dollars to defraud investors. The regulator filed this claim against Mobuozi personally, like I said, and those companies I mentioned earlier. If you didn't remember, I say it again: Tingo Group, Agri Fintech Holdings, and Tingo International Holdings. Now, just about 6 months ago, the short seller Hindenburg Research claimed that fraudulent activity by Tingo Group happened and alleged that it was an obvious scam, which caused the share price to go down by about 48%. So there was fire on the mountain about 6 months ago, but the charges didn't start until Monday, the 16th of December. Now, I'll go through the report. I'm not going to go through everything, but I'll go through some certain parts of the report that I think are relevant, make it easier for you to understand what went wrong Please note that Dozie Moboze hasn't been arrested. He's only been charged. He's going to have his day in court. He's going to have his lawyers. This is not an attempt to slander his name in any way. This is just to put the bare facts out there according to the SEC, and he will have his day in court. This is the developing story. I'd like to do more. Remember to subscribe. I'd like to do more on this as it develops. When the court case starts, I'll be giving you updates as to what's going on. Let's get back into it. So, looking at the 72-page report, in the summary page, it says since 2019, defendants have booked billions of dollars worth of fictitious transactions through two Nigerian subsidiary companies, Moboze founded and controls, reporting hundreds of millions of dollars of non-existent revenues and assets. Now check this out. It says that Tingo Group's financial year FY 2022 Form 10K filed in March this year, 2023, reported a cash balance of $461.7 million. Okay, a company who is doing well that reports $461.7 million as cash isn't a big deal. Now, that same report is now telling us that authentic bank records for the same accounts show a balance of less than $50 for that same period. How do we go from $50 to $461.7 million? That's my first question. Let's go back into it. Now, it says the fraud's roots date back years and pertain mostly to Tingo Mobile PLC, which is a private Nigerian company that Moboze founded that purportedly sources and supplies mobile handsets and related data and application services to farmers in Nigeria. Has anybody heard of Tingo Mobile? I haven't, but let's keep going. Beginning at least 2019, Moboze created fake financial statements and forged supporting material to falsely portray Tingo Mobile as a thriving and profitable enterprise with hundreds of millions of annual revenue, profit, and cash available, and a broad subscriber base of millions of farmers using its phones and services. In reality, throughout 2019, the company had no meaningful operations. If anybody knows where their headquarters is in Lagos and different offices, please put it down in the comment. I need to see it in the comment. And they said they only had about $15 in their bank account. Now let's keep going into this report. Now, the report is also saying that Moboze used these false financial figures and forgeries to effect two related frauds. Now, the first fraud was Moboze introducing the sale of Tingo Mobile to two public companies at grossly inflated valuations. Now, in 2021, Moboze caused the sale of Tingo Mobile from Tingo International Holdings, a US holding company created and owned, to OTC traded agri-fintech through an all-stock reverse merger. Now, an all-stock reverse merger is when you trade all the stock in one company into another company, which means no cash, absolutely no cash was exchanged in acquiring, another company. That's what's called an all-stock merger. Now, each merger valued Tingo Mobile at more than $1 billion, right? $1 billion. I've asked just now, I said, if you've heard of Tingo Mobile, put it down in the comment. And how much operations do they have to be able to have that kind of valuation? But let's keep going. Now, why did this merger happen? This merger happened because Moboze needed Tingo Mobile to access the US capital market, and in the process, acquired hundreds of millions of shares in the newly merged entities for himself and the entities he controlled. Now, the second thing was that Mobozi perpetrated a fraud on the investing public after merging Tingo Mobile into publicly traded AgriFintech and Tingo Group. It also says that whether knowingly or with reckless disregard, caused Tingo Mobile's fictitious transactions to be recorded in this company's books and records and reported in their SEC filings, press releases, investor presentations, and other public disclosures, many of which Mobozi made or certified. As a result, AgriFintech from August 2021 through to November 2022 and Tingo Group from December 2022 to present massively overstated their reported sales, earnings, and assets in their publicly disclosed financial statements for each reporting period in which he owned Tingo Mobile as its principal operating subsidiary. These misstatements, these material misstatements, created the false impression that Tingo Mobile was a thriving multi-billion dollar business, when in fact, its operations and earnings were fabricated, causing significant artificial overvaluation of the company's shares and Mobozi's controlling stake in them. Let's keep going. Number 6 talks about creating fake bank statements, falsifying general ledgers, other forged and doctored documents. It's deep. Now, I'll just scroll down a little bit and take you through what I am talking about. There are a couple of screenshots in the filings that I'll show you. Yeah, if you look at this fake statement, there's a fake statement here which says that the amount here, this looks like 130 billion naira debit, 130 billion naira credit, right? This print date of this is 2nd of January 2020. Now, the real statement is 13 million for total debit and 13 million for total credit. The funny thing is, if you look at the real statement and if you look at the fake statement, the only difference is a zero was added from 130 million. If you add 0 to 130 million, you actually have a few more zeros, because 130 million, 1.3 billion, 13 billion, 130 billion. So more zeros were obviously added to this from 130 billion, but the original amount, look at it here. The original amount here was 13 million naira to 130 billion. So who knows? Another question I have, does the bank have anything to do with this? Maybe, maybe not. I have no idea. There are a few other things that they claim that they falsified. I'm going to take you through another document here that we need to look at. So if we look at page 18 of the document, it says that the reported revenue in financial year 2017, right? So we're looking at it. So this is Tingo Mobile's financial year reported revenue, $302 million, reported profits, $53 million, reported cash and equivalents, $45 million, actual cash, check this out, $16.64. No million, no thousand, just dollars. Let's go to financial year 2018. They even made more money. $517 million reported revenue. $90 million reported profit. $138 million reported cash and equivalents. Actual cash and equivalents, $16.63, 1 cent less in financial year 2018. You can't make this up. Financial year 2019, Even more money in the reported revenue, $520 million. Reported profit, $91 million. Reported cash and equivalents, $221 million. Actual cash and equivalents, $16.63. That's what they are reporting in the actual cash. Then there are other things that the report says. The report is talking about between June 2019 and November 2020, Mobuozi knowingly or recklessly provided the board chair with four sets of ostensibly audited financial statements for Tingo Mobile prepared by four different chartered accountants or auditors. Why four? Which contained radically different financial metrics from each other, including cash balances that reflected nothing close to Tingo Mobile's actual cash balances. It talks about Mobuozi obstructing the TIH board's review of Tingo Mobile's financials. There was a time, look at number 56. For example, the board chair requested to see a sample of Tingo Mobile phone and the proprietary Tingo Mobile software that supposedly ran on such phones. Despite Tingo Mobile purportedly providing mobile handsets to over 9 million farmers. Remember what I said earlier? Mobuozi never provided one to the board chair for validation. So how can you be selling so many mobile phones? How can you be providing so many mobile phones to 9 million farmers in Nigeria? And you don't have one? There's none in the board meeting? Not one branded Tingo mobile phone? Why? Were there any mobile phones to start with? I'd like you to contribute to this video. Put your comments, put your questions. If you know more about this, put it there. Remember what I said. It's just been filed. It's just been charged. The companies have just been charged. It will have its day in court. This is by no means saying, this is exactly what happened. According to SEC, this is what's happened. But Dozie Mobuozi and the companies he represents will definitely have their days in court and come up with their own version of events. Let's keep going. Number 57 says Mobuozi denied the board chair access to any Tingo Mobile staff. Why? Because maybe they will say things that are different from what he's saying. Maybe. Refusing the board chair's repeated requests to meet with operational division heads and other purported members of management to learn more about and to verify the company's operations. Clearly, if you're a board chair, that's part of your remit. Now, if the board chair is being denied access, the question is why? Why? I think it's a fair question. What do you think? Now, Mobuozi insisted that he be the board's sole point of contact for company-related information. Like I said earlier, I'm not an accountant. If you're an accountant, if you're a lawyer, and maybe that's how it happens, that the CEO should be the only sole point of contact to the board CEO. Let me know. If the SEC might be getting that one wrong, who knows? We're all here to learn at the end of the day. Now we're just seeing, we're seeing different things. I've talked about the fake statements and the real statements. I've talked about Mobuozi falsifying financial statements for TIH. What else? Let's go down the report to the actual things that they are asking for, the reliefs. So the court is asking for reliefs, a certain reliefs, or prayers, as they call them in courts, that they're asking for, that they charge them for, rather. So there are violations of different exchange acts. There are violations of and allegations that AgriFintech, Tingo Group, Tingo International are violating several Exchange Act sections in the document. circumventing the system of internal accounting controls, knowingly falsified AgriFintech and Tingo Group's books, records, and accounts, pretty much alleging major fraud. So what I've done to make it easy is to create a flow chart, which I'll take you through. So hopefully this will make a bit more, this will bring it home to life, because I mean, they say, yeah, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So I'll take you through it. Dozimo Bozi is the CEO. Like I mentioned, he's the defendant in this case. The SEC is the plaintiff in this case. Now, these are the four companies I talked about. There's Tingo Group Holdings, there's AgriFintech Holdings, there's Tingo International Holdings, and there's Tingo Foods. But the company at the heart of all this is Tingo Mobile, and I'll get to it in a minute. So Tingo Group Holdings acquired Tingo Mobile. Now, Tingo Mobile was sold to AgriFintech Holdings via an all-stock merger in 2021. AgriFintech Holdings, the following year in 2022, sold the same Tingo Mobile that it acquired from Tingo Group, the same related companies, via an all-stock merger, meaning no cash was exchanged in 2022, right? Now, Tingo Mobile, right, had a share exchange with Tingo International Holdings in 2020. Tingo International Holdings is the holding company to Tingo Mobile. Now, I already mentioned earlier that Tingo Mobile had a cash balance, according to them, $461.7 million. This was reported in 2022, but the actual balance was less than $50, according to the report that SEC filed. Now, Tingo Foods, which was established in 2022, was sold for $200 million this year, 2023, to Tingo Group. So why is all this happening? You can see that everything is revolved around Tingo Mobile and Tingo Group Holdings. It's still coming back to Tingo Group Holdings. So the Tingo Mobile was sold to AgriFintech, who now sold it back to Tingo Group. And then Tingo Foods was also sold for $200 million, cash this time, to Tingo Group Holdings. Why? Because Tingo Group Holdings is a US-based holding company and is listed on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange, ticker symbol TIH. Now, why? Why is all this happening? Because Tingo Mobile wanted to access the US capital markets. Now, I forgot to mention each merger, that's the merger from Tingo Mobile to AgriFintech, and the merger from AgriFintech to Tingo Group Holdings, were each valued at $1 billion. So they could sell shares on Nasdaq. People could buy it. So investors could go there and could buy shares. With selling shares, they could raise capital. Now, there's also allegations of insider sales of shares of AgriFintech and Tingo Group, and the money used to fund lavish lifestyles. So think about it, private jets and multi-million-dollar homes, and pretty much a lavish lifestyle. So that, in a nutshell, is what happened. That, in a nutshell, is what happened. Another thing I just wanted to mention is the corporate and ownership structure. So TIH, Tingo International Holdings, Mobozi is the CEO of that. AgriFintech, Mobozi is the CEO of that. Tingo Group, Mobozi is the co-CEO as of September this year. And Tingo Group Holdings is also the CEO. So he's involved in all of it, which is why he's been named alongside those companies. Now, I'll take you through a timeline. Before February 2022, before February 2020, it was Tingo Mobile, which is a Nigerian company, standalone private company. No issues with the USA at all. Between February 2020 and August 2021, TIH was formed, which is now a private holding company. Remember what I said earlier in my flow chart. Is 100% owner of Tingo Mobile, again by an all-stock merger, which I mentioned earlier. Now, between August 2021 and November 2022, we now have Tingo Incorporated, ticker symbol TMNA, another public company. So this is a public company. TIH is a private US holding company. Tingo Incorporated is a public company, traded OTC, which stands for over the counter, and is 100% owner of Tingo Mobile. So TMNA, so Tingo Incorporated is 100% owner of Tingo Mobile. TIH is also 100% owner of Tingo Mobile. Now, between December 2022 and today, we now have TIO, which is a public company, which is listed on NASDAQ and is also 100% owner of Tingo Mobile. So that's the structure. Like I said earlier, Dozimo Boze hasn't responded. Last time I checked, he hasn't responded to any comments. He will have his day in court. The companies will have their day in court. I'm sure he and his lawyers will prepare their own rebuttal or their own version of events. Stay close to this. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this content. And as soon as I know more, I'll be doing a rejoin. I'll be doing a separate video on this to let you know their own side of the story. If anybody knows more, please subscribe, like, share, and most importantly, comment. Let us know what you have. Let us know what questions. Lawyers, chartered accountants. I want to learn more about the case. It's a developing case, very interesting, and I'll leave it at that. See you in the next one.